because you probably want to write some stuff down, but sometimes you'll miss it. Sometimes you'll miss stuff, and I would suggest trying to learn on your own. So when you go and he gives you it around, you can ask him a question like, should I add 4 gallons of water in the black tank, or how many times should I run the generator a week? It's stuff like that that makes this easier, because you really, for me, and I know you, we just want our kids to have a good time. We don't want any hiccups happening while we're doing it. And that's why like upkeep and stuff like that's really important as far as RVing. And that way when you go out to your weekend or your week, if you go out to like a South Dakota trip or something, you're fairly confident that everything's going to be working okay and you have no leaks and everything's tip-top. So be sure to do that. So let's talk about the likes and dislikes of our Winnebago Access. I know there's one that we both agree on. Let's talk about the likes. What do you like about it?
We're a family of 4. I think for a family of 4, it's got enough space as far as sleeping, and everyone's got their own space type of thing. I like the ride, the way it feels. It's actually pretty comfortable.
I was surprised at that.
Yeah.
Because when we took it out for our test drive, he drove it, and then I drove it. But, just that, 5-10 miles, you don't really get the feel for it, especially when you can't go 65 or 60 miles an hour down a freeway.
Right.
And when we finally got on the freeway, I was like, oh, this isn't that bad. I mean, I guess I don't know how it is in the back, but...
Yeah, way in the back it gets a little,
wavy,
but when you're up closer to the front, it's actually pretty, just like you're sitting in a regular truck, so...
Nice. So what do you not like about it?
The counter space. The kitchen in the Winnebago Access 31J is limited.
Limited.
I actually had to buy a wood block to put over the top of the stove to give me a little more counter space.
Yeah.
And to be honest, that still doesn't seem like it's enough. I tried finding some ones that go into the kitchen sink, and I just haven't found ones that actually fit the size of the sink. So I'm kind of still looking for those to see if that will help too, which I think it will. But again, the kitchen counter space is definitely limited there.
Yeah, when we were looking at it, you always hear, oh, you got to look for space, and that's really something you should. Now that we've had our first time out, is one thing you want to do is pretend like you're making a meal. I know this sounds really weird, maybe creepy, but pretend like you're living in it. Pretend like, I don't care if the guy or girl makes the dinner, but pretend like you're making a meal. Like, let's say a big meal, like a salad. That's probably the best way to describe it. Pretend like you're making a salad, like you're cutting up the lettuce and the tomatoes and all that, and then you're putting it in a bowl, and then maybe you're doing some corn on the side. Think about like you're making corn and making a salad, and see if you've got enough room on there. And also think, if you got kids, that counter space, or the dinette, that's going to be full, because maybe sounds a little bad, but our kids use that table for play.
Mm-hmm.
And so we don't have a ton of even dinette space. So when you buy an RV, be sure to kind of play around with that and see, you pretty much can go in there and check them out, and then you can just, especially for the ladies, if I'm not trying to be the sexist one here, but if you're the ladies and you're making the meal, be sure to pretend like you're getting that stuff out of the refrigerator, the cabinets, and all that, because then you kind of know where you're at as far as space.
Yeah.
Because I think if we would have done that, Yeah, we may have.
No, we
got it.
still would have bought the
we still would've-
access.
Yeah.
Like I said, we really like the bunk beds, and the kids have their own space, and it's a trade-off that we're dealing with, and works.
And
just fine.
we're finding stuff as we go along because we've switched the stuff above the dinette for kitchen stuff, and we've found little areas.
Yeah.
The one like I have of it, of course the bunks, but mine is when we're going down the road. If someone's got to take a potty break, they can just take it. With kids, nobody's ever on the same schedule, and I think right now it's just a novelty when we're doing it. But I think in time, it'll kind of play out. But because I can drive for quite a while without having to pull over, so that's one of the likes I have, and especially the sleeping space. We have, we got the 2 bunks. We've got they say it's a queen bed, but it's too short for that. But they have the bed in the back, the queen, the dinette, the scissor couch, and then the above cab. So they said it can sleep up to 8 to 10. I think if you're sleeping 10, you've got to be real close with each other for that to happen. But my dislike, counter space. And definitely outside space. They're too small.
Storage space.
Space, yeah.
Outside storage space is limited.
Yeah. We have the one big in the back for really the grill, and we just bought some, what are they? They're just containers. Containers for the water supply stuff and some other stuff. And then you have one real long one in the front driver's side, and then you've got small ones, and the small ones are almost too small.
Yeah.
So other than that, it's a fantastic it's a great it's really fun to drive. It's not a Suburban, it's not a car. You've really got to get used to driving that, and especially in semi-windy conditions, because you are driving a big billboard down the road, and you can feel it, and I'm sure everybody else can feel it. If I can feel it driving, I'm sure you guys can feel it in the back. But I think right now we're going to take a little break, and then we're going to come back and talk about our first couple times out. We'll be right back. Hey guys, please go like our Facebook pages, the 4F45, The Rants, Final Shot Saloon, and Gasoline and Marshmallows. These podcasts are part of the Final Shot Saloon studio and can be found on iTunes and Stitcher with the same name, so search Final Shot Saloon Studio for all the shows. Please like and share the podcast to help us get more listeners. Thanks for your support, and thanks for listening. All right, we're back. Remember, you can find us at gasolineandmarshmallows.com. You can pretty much find any link to Facebook, Twitter, or Instagram, actually, on the site. So please go check out that. And we're also on Stitcher and iTunes at Final Shot Studio. That is the feed we are on. We're going to talk about the first couple times we were out. Really just semi-learning curve about it. And we didn't actually stray that far from where we bought it, or home, for that matter. Was about 20 miles from home, and about 5 miles from the actual place we bought it. We told them that we will be going to this RV park, and they even said, if you have any problems, you be sure to call us. So that's kind of one reason why we did it.
Absolutely.
Just to run everything. And really, I don't think we were about to take a longer trip than what we did without really knowing anything.
Yeah, and it's really still just getting comfortable with driving it. To be honest, we've owned it for a year now, and I haven't even driven it yet. It's just getting over that comfort factor, and and you've done a really good job at driving it and taking the wheel. So I appreciate that. Everything. Eventually, I will get behind the wheel, but right now, we're still, in a way, we're still learning. And
Yep.
every time we go out, we go, oh, we should do it better this way and this time. But
And that's kind of why we wanted to do this podcast, because you guys, if you're listening, you can kind of, if you're seasoned, you can just have a good time laughing at us, or if you're someone thinking about doing it, you can kind of learn through us a little before you purchase one, or you're going through the same thing we are. Because hey, everybody's got to start somewhere. So this is about our first couple times out. Really, like I said before, the dumping of the tanks was the most serious thing for me.
Mm-hmm.
You learn how to, well, I shouldn't say you learn how to, because I still have a tough time doing it, but shutting your propane off or turning it on.
we still have problems with that.
Yeah.
Shutting it off
Yeah.
never fails.
No.
Driving down the road and, I forgot to shut the propane off.
They make little things for your steering wheel, so you can antenna, take it off, LP, take it off,
Oh.
so that's something that we should probably think about.
Probably.
And just because we've never been camping before. I mean,
Never, not even in a tent, nothing.
No.
We don't go camping.
all
So-
the 10 years or 9 years we were doing, going to contests and stuff, it was all hotels.
Yeah.
Hotels, restaurants, this is first for us. So it was just really just kind of getting used to, I don't know, being camping or RVing. What do you do? So we tried at this RV park. It had a pool. It had really playgrounds, and we just kind of tried to find stuff for us to do as a family, just to kind of keep busy because we didn't know. And we've been Dutch oven cooking, so that was kind of a nice way to start it out, because we don't have an oven in there. We just have a
The stovetop.
stovetop. And
There's a microwave, too.
oh yeah, yep, we got the microwave. So we at least did a lot of Dutch oven cooking, and we didn't have a good enough grill. I disliked that charcoal one so bad that
Yeah. The first few times out, we actually did a lot of Dutch oven cooking, because we didn't have the grill to do that. So
yeah, we did. We grilled. We Dutch oven a lot of good stuff.
yeah,
I think the second to the last time my family came out, and my family's not quiet people by any means, and all through they were eating that.
bacon wrapped chicken.
Yeah, not one word was spoke. That's when you know you've done a good job. So we were just kind of learning to kind of do everything, use everything we had, hooking up the water. We bought the filter this year. So it was just really just living inside the RV. I mean, being that close quarters, we're a close family anyway, so it really, that whole part about it wasn't an issue, but even working the slides, I think, is an important thing. So yeah, the first few times out, it's always a learning curve. You always learn something new. I don't think you'll ever stop learning something. I think our first time out, we were pulling away and we didn't have the antenna down. I remember that guy.
You have that guy stuff. I was like, wait.
And he's like, newbies. But it's just simple stuff like that. And actually, this year we've learned you learned how to turn on the TV.
Yeah. Yes, I did.
The antenna boost?
Yeah.
I still don't know what it was.
I don't know. It's some button on the thing.
Yeah.
I don't know what its purpose is.
This year we went to a campground and we couldn't get our TV to work, and I'm like, okay, I'll check it when we get home, because we're doing our thing outside, whatnot, and Well, I'm never really inside to watch TV anyway, but the kids wanted to watch something, and I think it was raining, and all it was just this little silly